Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. Today I'm going to be doing an energy forecast. So this show might be a little bit shorter than some of my other shows, but I've had a lot of people that they're really trying to keep up to date on what's happening energetic wise. Everyone who's sensitive, it's really a helpful thing to know, like, what's happening around you, what's happening energetically, how is it affecting your emotions and all kinds of different things. So that being said, that's what today's podcast is going to be on. Is it's going to be an energy update for what's happening right now, an energy forecast for the beginning of April here. And before we get started on that, I want to remind everybody that the mentorship circle is now open. I have my higher purpose learning group. If you haven't been in that, you can click on the link below. I'm starting to put all the links for you guys below so that you don't have to go searching around. That is my spirit community. And from that actually grew the mentorship circle because people wanted some more one-on-one from me, and they wanted to get into some more advanced topics, some deeper stuff. We also have some master classes going on in there every 3 or 4 weeks or so, where I'm bringing in other healers. I had healers in mind when I created the mentorship circle. Those who are interested in becoming healers or wish to become healers and don't know what direction to take, whether you're new or advanced. I had them in mind, but I have a lot of other types of students in the mentorship circle who are just very interested in advanced metaphysical stuff. And so that's been a huge success. I think that if you are interested at all in that, you might want to check that out. Again, I'll be posting the links below so you won't have to search. And then, as always, if you want to join the Higher Purpose Learning or want to know any more of my information, you can go to keystothespiritworld.com. I have tons of stuff on there. The Higher Purpose Learning link is there as well. But also, for those of you who are interested in the psychic ability class, that is open now. So you want to make sure that you get in on that if that's something that you've been trying to that you want to do, or you're trying to develop your abilities. I have been keeping that open, just to give you guys an update. I have been keeping that open kind of year round. I may end up closing it and doing enrollment periods again, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. But we are going to be having a big enrollment period here coming up soon, and then I may close it for a few months while class is in session. For those of you who are developing your abilities, I have a lot of people that come into my higher purpose learning group, and I find it interesting that they're feeling a little bit frustrated, which is why they come into the group, and they're trying to learn more about how to get a handle on their abilities and how to move forward with them, how to be more in touch with their spirit guides, how to be more in tune with their intuition. And while groups like that are incredibly helpful, there's so much support in the group, and a lot of people can ask questions like, there's lots of stuff. I've experienced this today, or have you guys ever experienced this? There's so much support and conversation going on over there. People just love that group. But if you're really wanting to do some one-on-one work and you're really serious about developing your abilities, taking a class and really diving in deeper to a class such as the one I spent time creating, it's really going to help advance you a lot further, a lot quicker. Yes, everybody has the ability to develop naturally on their own. However, it's a lot more difficult to do on your own, even from listening to all these podcasts and even from being in the higher purpose learning group. When you're really ready to move forward, you guys really need to take a class. You really do, whether it's mine or somebody else's. There's more stuff that you're going to get out of a class than you are just trying to kind of navigate it through it yourself. How I explain that to people is, let's say you decided to you've never golfed before and you wanted to learn to golf. Yeah, you can go out there and you get the concept. You can hit the ball. You can place it on the tee. You can hit it with your club. You know what you're doing. But as far as really finessing it and and not being frustrated with the game, you really need to learn from somebody. You need to kind of figure that out. You need to have some lessons or whatnot. It's the same sort of concept. Yes, I know most of you guys get the concept of development. But it kind of surprises me, truthfully, how many people are just so set on doing it themselves, and then they're also so frustrated, and they don't realize that with some one-on-one help, it can really help that frustration and propel you much further than you are if you're feeling stuck. So enough about that. Anyways, that class is in open enrollment right now. For those of you who are sensitive, these energy reports are something that you'll probably find very helpful. This is another thing. I go over a lot of this kind of stuff in my mentorship circle, but I wanted to cover some of this today because there is a lot going on. We just had the blue moon, and we have Mercury retrograde going on. We are moving into a new season and a new month. And these all really affect how we're feeling and our abilities. And they affect a lot of things in our life if we're sensitive people. And I'm guessing you're sensitive if you're listening to this podcast, because otherwise you'd be like, I don't know what she's talking about and I don't care. So that being said, most of you, if you're listening, these things will affect you, but it gets very confusing because it's like, how do you tell if it's a wave? How do you tell if it's just me having a crappy day? How do you tell if it's me having a good day and lots of energy, or that I ate really good that day? How do you tell what's happening? Well, first of all, you should understand and know that there are way more things that affect these three things in your life than you realize. There are way more factors that play into your emotional state of mind, your emotions, how you're dealing with things. That's the first one. Your thought process and perspective, and your energy levels, your physical energy levels, your mental and physical energy levels. Those three things, people are greatly under the assumption that they are affected by, I guess, their physical environment and physical things that they eat and physical activity and that sort of thing. Now, those things are very much affected by your physical environment and food you intake and how much exercise you get, or whether you're sick or whatever. Absolutely, but that is about 50% of the effects of that is your physical environment and your physical state of things. The other 50% are these energy waves, the astrological patterns, the spiritual index, and the seasonal weather patterns and changes that we're having. It's something that people don't really think about because, well, kind of because you've been trained not to. We've been over that a bunch. But they can't, even if they understand it, even if people go, okay, well, now you're telling me that I'm only halfway affected by the physical things going on, and I'm halfway affected by these other astrological, spiritual things going on, and I understand that, but I don't find that helpful because I have no idea how to figure that out. Okay, so we're going to break that down a little bit, and then I'm going to kind of tell you what's going on with these energy waves right now and everything. The one thing that you'll notice often, besides your physical factors, I guess I would say most people are very aware, or usually pretty aware, of the physical factors that would cause you to feel emotionally one way or the other, cause you to have a perspective of something, or low energy or high energy. You're usually pretty aware of that on a physical level. So let's just say you kind of got that down. You kind of got that. If that you're finding on, my best tip for this is if you're finding on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, like something out of character emotionally, or out of character with your thought process or your energy level. So, what I mean by that is you haven't really been around anybody that would normally upset your world, yet you're feeling some type of emotional way that doesn't seem to be in alignment with how your day's gone. If you're feeling that your thought process also doesn't seem to be in alignment, or your energy levels doesn't seem to be in alignment with what you've eaten, or about your exercise or any of that, if those three things do not feel like that they're in alignment with how your day went, or coinciding with your day or your week, that's a very good indicator that there's something really strong going on astrologically, energetically, with the spirit index, that sort of thing. And so that's a big indicator. So for instance, the other indicator is if you kind of are noticing it in floods around you. So I can see a wave coming before I even notice it myself, usually, because all these people around me I'll start observing that they're kind of behaving in the same wave patterns. They're kind of emotionally in the same state, or they're kind of in thinking in the same way. And what I mean by that is I might be running into a lot of people that are very irritated that day, or a lot of people with a very negative outlook on some things, or they might be angry, or I might be running into a lot of people who are feeling high energy, or they're like, hey, all these really cool things are happening. You tend to see it in waves. You will see it in waves with people at your work, with family members and friends, with people that you're running into at Target or Walmart or whatever. And they can go both ways. They can be positive and not so positive. It can be like the checker is super nice to you. Some person who you don't know just smiled at you or made a compliment to you as you were walking to your car. Like it can be that kind. And then you come home and whoever's at your house is in a really good mood and you had a really great dinner. Do you see what I mean? That's like a whole pattern that is setting the tone to your day. People don't tend to think about the patterns that set the tones to their day. Things like of that nature. It's kind of like a domino effect. And the domino effect is being led by different astrological and energy wave patterns. So why should you pay attention to this? Why should you even care one way or the other? Because it's good not to jump on the bandwagon when you have a thick energy wave coming through, or one that has a low vibration, or the planetary alignment is just kind of throwing everything off balance in a way that it basically can come through and you can become a tornado and wreak havoc in your own life by taking on a perspective and the negativity and whatnot. If it's coming through in a positive way, you don't necessarily need to pay attention to it so much, because naturally people will then be moving forth their day in a creative, positive manner, and they naturally will do so. So that's going to affect your life in a good way. It's going to have a good outcome, right? You want to pay attention to the ones that will affect your life that will kind of have a negative effect. So you're naturally going to be fine and okay, and you're naturally going to gravitate with the positive waves. You're naturally going to kind of be sucked in by those people and have that, and just allow that to have this really nice euphoric effect on your days and your hours and the things that you're doing, the projects that you're doing. That is a wonderful thing that it doesn't matter if you're paying attention to or not. You're on a high vibe wave and you're having a high vibe effect in your life. You don't need to make it higher necessarily. I mean, you can if you're aware of it. You absolutely can make it higher, but you're just enjoying it, and high vibe is high vibe. So it doesn't matter what kind of high vibe it is. Just enjoy that high vibe you're riding. But I would like you guys to pay more attention to the lower vibration ones, the ones kind of that we're experiencing right now. Actually, we've been experiencing one the last few days, and those may or may not affect you depending on how your awareness is. And it's just something that it is good to be aware of so that you don't fall into this, tornado of this. You just don't create your own Tasmanian devil wreckage coming through with the energy wave and just start being all crazy and stuff. So, what's going on right now is great. We're in Mercury retrograde. Always got to love that. And the spirit index is really high. And with this spirit index right now, it's super thick. So the vibration of the spirit index is actually, there's a lot of lower vibration stuff happening with this thick spirit index. That's not always the case. Sometimes when the spirit index is high, there's a lot of high vibe stuff going on. Well, that actually, a lot of the high vibe stuff was going on a few weeks ago. And right now, just with the planetary alignment and the things that are going on, there just tends to be a low vibration spirit index going on in an extreme level. And so that's going to be affecting a lot of people along with, Mercury retrograde and the planetary alignment and all that kind of stuff. So what might you be noticing? One of the things that a lot of sensitive people are going to be noticing right now is some inconsistent sleep patterns. So you might in the same night be going from a very, very deep, deep sleep to just can't being able to sleep at all, tossing and turning for hours. So that's one thing that you're probably going to be noticing. Before you go to bed, although I suggest people do this all the time, especially if you're sensitive, is doing some grounding work. Because with a lower vibration spirit index, like we're having a heightened lower vibration spirit index, the low vibrations definitely will be in everybody's bedroom. Like that's just a given. That's their window in, is during your dream time. So a good time to ground yourself is to do it before bed. And that would be taking showers before bed is really good for that. Using a grounding type of scent when you're taking a shower, anything woodsy, musky, not flowery. Flowery doesn't tend to work as in grounding as much. And or burning incense before bed or in your bedroom. Those are the three things. I do these things. I do those three things we've talked about before, but I always do that at night regardless. Just for me, it's maintenance. I deal with so much stuff going on energetically, and I'm so sensitive all the time that to me, it's just maintenance. I don't have to think about it. It's my routine. It's just habit. And speaking of this kind of stuff as well, we have the Spiritual Guru Box coming out. And these are the types of things that I think about when I'm teaching you guys about like this energy stuff and how to move forward in a positive, really cool way. And especially when you're sensitive, and how to kind of take hold of your life differently, how to live a sensitive life in a super successful, proactive way and feeling very healthy. These types of things that I'm talking about and these techniques that I'm telling you right now, some of these items and some of the things will be in future boxes. Like there will be incenses that I think are very helpful that I personally use. And I have to tell you guys, by the way, I seriously, and I know we've talked about this, or I guess it's one-sided conversation since you're just listening. Or maybe you're talking to me right now and I, whatever. So, I have been going through samples and samples, and I kid you not, with a Spiritual Guru Box, I am super picky. It is stuff I use or will use. Incense, for instance. I am very picky on grounding incense. I'm very picky about them. I have gotten so many boxes of incense sent to me from places, samples that I've been sampling, and I would say I do not like 90% of them. 90% of the incenses I've been getting, and I probably have about 40 boxes, to me are crap. I think that incense, there are certain incenses that are very spiritually grounding incenses, and they have to have certain properties to them, and they have to be made a certain way. You can't just throw anything together and call it rose incense, lavender incense. I don't even get those, but whatever. I mean, they're nice to smell, but they're not working in the spiritual properties the way that they need to if you're trying to do what I'm teaching you to do. They're good for if you just want to make a room smell good, and that's always better than nothing, of course. I mean, than, not having some scent going, because scents really can do different things with your energetic levels. Don't get me wrong there, but like in what I'm talking about right now, all the boxes will be themed. There's specific types of incense that you would need to use for like before bed, grounding, for astral travel stuff. There's certain types of smells, and I have to go through every one, and then we test them. So like the other thing with the Guru Box is, we have certain stones and jewelry that we're bringing in, and samples and rocks. My family is very, very sensitive. My kids are very sensitive, and that's kind of our way of life. These are things that we normally use in our household anyways, or we normally wear. We're testing them. My kids are wearing the stones. We are using the stones. They're all kind of got our stamp of approval before they go into the box. So this spiritual guru box is going to be, you will probably find helpful if you're really trying to do some of the things I'm talking about. We're even working on a grounding scrub that I'm super excited about, by the way, which I would also suggest if before bed when this energy is thick. So that is one of the things that you're going to want to do. Why? Because during the nighttime, yep, I've already jumped back to the podcast conversation. During the nighttime, when the spirit index is thick like this with a lower vibration, that's their window in to try to bring your vibration down. Then when you wake up in the morning, they've already started their job. Then it leads into you wake up emotionally, not feeling refreshed and excited. You're kind of irritated, or you're kind of feeling low, or you're affected emotionally by them having some contact with you during your dreams and such and whatnot, and the energy that you felt when you've astral traveled, just because that's how the planetary alignment and such is at the moment. And that then seeps over into your thought process for the day. And when that seeps over into your thought process, what happens is low vibration energy that will kind of stick with you. It's right now you want to pay attention to cleansing your aura is basically what it comes down to. I don't really talk about that kind of stuff very much, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. But you don't want that aura of energy. You don't want that thick energy. And that's why you're wanting to pay attention to cleansing your aura at this point in time. Because that thick energy, when it's like that, it'll walk around with you sort of throughout your day. So you know how somebody can, this is something that I just for some reason is the most noticeable to me. You know how people, if you smoke cigarettes, they you can smell it on their clothes, and you can smell if there's a cigarette smoker around, just because that smoke kind of sticks to their clothes and sticks around them and their hair and stuff. A thick energy wave will do the same sort of thing. A thick spirit index, and so you want to be cleansing your aura of that throughout the day. This is something that you want to be paying attention to right now. So it shifts your thought process, shifts your perspective. Then you start having some not so high energy thoughts or high vibration thoughts, I would say. If you've gone to bed with all of this and you wake up emotionally in that state, now it's affecting your thought process. You're probably thinking things like, well, whatever idea you had, you're probably questioning decisions. So, like a few weeks ago, there was such a nice wave coming in where it's like a high vibe wave, super productive stuff coming in, lots of ideas that you might be dreaming about. Right now, you're probably going, why was I even thinking that? That wasn't a very good idea in the first place. Who was I to think that I could follow through with something like this? And then the follow through is then you just get tired. Then now you're just, now this, you woke up emotionally in a way, then the thought process kicks in, and then and your energy levels, your body and your mind just is like, I don't want to do any of this. Who cares? Just you're feeling more lethargic and tired. So with this thick wave, with this lower vibration coming through, you can see how when you kind of understand it, you can see how the pattern really changes your perspective and how you get things done. And so by the time you're like, I'm over it, I don't want to think about it, I'm tired, I'm irritated, then you become less productive. You don't follow through with doing things that you should be doing. And then as you're creating your thought process, you're sending out kind of negative, lower vibration thoughts into the universe. And then when you slam your finger in the door, stub your toe, you're like, that just figures. And now my phone's not working because Mercury retrograde. You know what I mean? It becomes a whole pattern. So that's why you want to be aware of these energy sweeps, these energy things coming through. Because you can actually purposely do some things to contradict them. You can do some things to realize it's not life that's happening to you that's causing you to be all cranky and whatnot. Because if it is, you would know. If it became a thing. But even if it is life, you still have a lot of control over your perspective. You still have a lot of control over what energy you're putting out there into the universe. And you have a lot of control of not riding this thick wave. You have a lot of control of like kind of disintegrating the thick wave around you and letting that thick wave stick to somebody else. And that's the stuff I'm talking to you about. So what I'm specifically doing to combat all of these things right now, because I can feel it. I felt it coming. I first seen it with a lot of people I was coming into contact with, whether they be at the store or friends or family members. I really start noticing it with family quickly. So I'll give that a day or so, but if it seems to be going on to day 2, day 3, I'm like, okay, wait, I see it coming. And then I will start kind of being a lot more aware of what's going on around me. My awareness heightens when I start seeing it in patterns around me. My awareness is now heightened. Why is it heightening? Because I don't want it coming near me. That's why. That's why. I'm watching because you just keep away. We're just going to keep you at arm's length, but I don't want it coming near me. And I want to predict how strong the wave is. I want to know how prepared I need to be. So I continue to do my maintenance, which is the stuff we were talking about, like the burning incense and the musky scents and the showering. The showering, actually, the water will wash sticky energy off of you. So, I mean, even if you feel like you want to wash the sticky energy off at night, then you wash it off in the morning. And heck, if you want to do it midday, who cares? Salt water, if you're by the ocean, is really good. Pools, those work too. Any hot tubs, any type of water stuff is really good to do for any of those things. So there's that. The other thing that I am doing is I'm running incense through all my house. So now's a good time to be walking it through all of your rooms and do clearings and or sage. Sage is a good thing. Selenite is a really good aura cleanser, just so you guys know. Again, that's something you get to look forward to in the spirit. I will kid you. I was going to say kid you. I will clue you in on one thing. We have a really cool selenite thing that's going to be coming out in one of the boxes. But anyways, that's a really good aura cleanser. So selenite would be good. If you have crystal quartz and you are using those, you want to make sure that you're rinsing those right now, because right now they are they are grabbing a hold of a lot of murky energy. So any types of rocks or crystals that you guys have around, now's the time to be washing them. Run them under cold water or just water. I wouldn't use soap. You don't need to use soap. But run them under water for sure. Absolutely keep your rocks clear and clean if you're going to be using those. And then I will also be doing for several nights. I don't just do it one night. I work with my angels when there's a heavy energetic thickness coming in, such as it is right now. And I have an angel meditation that I do. I believe for those of you who are in the my classes, you guys all have access to that in the websites that you guys have. But I do an angel meditation and I pull in angels and I do an angel clearing and then I do a protection grid around the family. And that is also very helpful. And I'll do that for, like I said, several days. But you want to pull in a heavy, high vibration energy if you don't know how to do an angel meditation or an angel grid. Basically, when you do your meditation, you want to consciously be pulling in a high vibration energy, connecting with that. And you want to allow that to come through until your whole bubble is filled. Actually, my chi meditation is super good for this. You can find that on my keys to spiritworld.com, but I think that there'll be a link below for that also. Anyways, that is a tremendous meditation for that. And so you want to be clearing out your rooms. You want to be clearing, kind of keeping your aura clear with the water, with the selenite, with the crystals, with the incense. And then you want to just have really good awareness that it's going on around you. And the reason that you want to have a good awareness that it's going on around you is because if you don't separate that it's going on around you versus it's going on in you, then you will take on the wave and ride it in, right? So just make sure that you're very aware that if you're feeling edgy, if you're feeling energetically lethargic, if you're feeling emotionally cranky, I would say 70% of the time that's probably going to be this murky energetic wave we got going on right now. 30% might be stuff that's going on in your day, but it's a high percentage it's going to be affected. Or even if you started having a crappy day, believe me, it's going to pile on. The other thing that I just want to point out before we kind of get to the end of this is with this thick wave that's coming through, you might be questioning decisions that you've been making. Don't question decisions right now. Now's not a good time. So I would say put that off until the middle of April, because the middle of April, a lot of this is going to be clearing out and you're going to be feeling a lot differently. So that's number one. Things might be feeling, anything that you've put in place right now might be feeling like it's moving at a snail's pace, or even like just kind of stopped. Like you might be feeling like, am I even getting anything done? Is anything even happening with this? I feel like it was going so well and now it feels like it's sort of just hung up. That's going to be shifting and changing middle of April as well. So don't be trying to force anything. Still try to be productive in whatever it is that you're doing and putting in place. But don't try to force anything through, because energetically and astrologically, things are a little bit hung up. So with that thick energy, it's like moving through mud. So you have to allow the process to move through mud first. And that's why everything feels slower. That's why you're feeling more tired. That's, you imagine all that like just moving through mud. And so that is all, like I said, going to be clearing out more in the middle of April. So we're going to be talking about that coming up as well. So don't forget to do clearing. Don't take on this energy as your own thought process. Be very aware of any negative thoughts that are popping into your head within the next week. Be very, very aware of those and dismiss them as not your own. Just allow them to come in and allow them to go out. Do not attach yourself to any negative thoughts, especially right now. If you're having them today, if you're having them tomorrow, just acknowledge them, let them go. Tell yourself you'll revisit that negative thought if it's still there next week or the week after. If it's still there next week or the week after and you're feeling the same way about it, then maybe you need to kind of look into it. But I'm pretty sure that next week or the week after, it's not going to have the intensity behind the negative thought. So make sure that you're kind of letting those go and put off any big, I would say big decision making until another, middle of April. Because I feel like now it's definitely not the time for big decision making to be happening. That would be like, because of this thick wave, you might not be thinking as clear, because it's also kind of foggy with this whole thing. So hopefully you found this helpful. I know this was kind of short, a little bit different, but a lot of people have been asking me about it, and there's a lot of edgy energy going around. So make sure you are just aware of it. Make sure that you don't take things personally. Just observe others around you and the patterns that are going on around you. Make sure to do your clearing. Make sure to do your grounding. Make sure not to attach yourself to any negative thoughts. Put all big decision making in the middle of April. Allow yourself to continue to move forward with things that you're doing, but don't get frustrated if things are not moving, because that's going to change in the middle of April. And just try to keep your perspective. Don't allow yourself to accidentally ride on the low vibration bandwagon. Just be aware enough to go, you know what, this doesn't really involve me, this thought. So I'm going to just go on to a more positive thinking thing. Just realize it's not your life. It's the energy that's kind of going on that's making you feel like it's your life. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but hopefully you found that helpful. Okay, don't forget to stop on over at the Higher Purpose Learning Group. If you're interested in the mentorship circle, that is something you definitely want to get in on, because we're doing some really cool stuff over there. The Spiritual Guru Box, that is coming closer and closer, and we only have a limited number of boxes. So if you can't get in that first month, you'll have to wait till month 2, and there'll be more in month 2, but you guys will want to get in as soon as possible. If you're interested, definitely make sure you get on the email list, or you can go to spiritualgurubox.net, and there's like some giveaways, or go to the Instagram. There's all kinds of places where you can go. And the psychic ability class, if that's something you're interested in, check that out, because I probably will be closing that for a little bit. So hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Again, comment below. I always read your guys' comments. I hope you found it helpful, and have the most amazing day. Aloha.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.